being. So that we would know that children born this time, in this day, would be a lot more intelligent than the children born 2,000 years ago. So that you see the technological advances that have come into this society based off of the fact that we're in the age of knowing now. It's more mental. Now, another 2,000 years later, we're going to go into building more things. So you might see more pyramids starting to spring up if we happen to come back here 2,000 years ago. 2,000 years later. So you follow what I'm saying? So it's always that particular cycle that's always occurring that we base our whole lifestyle around. Because that was all we had back in the day. You would wake up and you would see this great big ball that would give you light, heat, knowledge, warmth, you know what I mean, vitamins, and it was nourishment. So then when you start comparing the attributes of God and the attributes of the Son, you see they one and the same. But then they tried to pull away from that and say, so they made the Son a man. And then from that man, then they started to worship men. But all of the temples that was created were constructed like a woman. So this is why women weren't allowed in the church. Because when you walk into the temple, you're walking into the inside of a woman. So that was anti-nature. So then they wouldn't allow the women into the particular temples. That's why the Bible says that the Quran usually, Muslims usually don't like women in the mosque with them. In the Freemason temples, they originally didn't have women in there because all of those were built on the same principles. Because they worship you. Because you were the first one to give life. You know what I mean? The first one that they could see bringing forth life. Nobody else could do that. Men can't bring forth life. We can share a part of our essence with you, but you're the one that actually brings forth life. So then they reverence you. And then about 6,000 years ago, that flipped. And they started to push the woman to the side, make her disappear, and she became a ghost, the Holy Ghost, and they just left the man and his father. And then, in some instances, the son was always a widow, a widow's son. Jesus' father wasn't there, so he was like a widow's son. Muhammad's dad and mother was there, wasn't there, he was a widow. Buddha, same thing. All of their fathers were gone, they just left them and their mother. And then later on, Hollywood took that same concept. Superman's parents wasn't there, he was a widow. Batman's parents were killed, he was a widow's son. You know what I'm saying? Spider-Man's parents was killed, he was a widow's son. So everybody became widow's son. But it was all about that big ball of what we think is fire that's about 93 billion miles away. And even that ain't even real. But that's a whole nother thing. Okay, don't make me overload you. So that's what these books are about, is explaining this in step-by-step processes so that you'll be able to, you don't want to overload them, so you give them a little bit, and a little bit, and a little bit to try to get them ready for, just like you go through kindergarten, first grade, for the higher level type information. So then you graduate to that level, and then you'll be able to see that everything you see in existence is based off of the sun and the moon. Just take the colors on this marathon right here, red and blue. Sun red in the morning, moon is blue at night. Blue has always been associated with women. Red is associated with men, Mars. You know what I'm saying? Because we're aggressive, the fire.
So you're seeing what these businesses are doing is color-coded?
Yeah, they're color-coded because, let's say for all your fast food restaurants, right? Most of them have red, yellow, and orange in their color scheme because those are fast-moving colors. They also represent your lower three chakras, which deals with your lower nature. So then that's why they call fast food, because it's not good for you. It's going to cater to your appetite. But if you go to a restaurant where they want you to sit down and relax and be, cool, they'll give you blue, because blue is calming. You know what I'm saying? You go to the church, everything is purple, because purple being the crown chakra is more spiritual. So when you go to churches, or they show pictures of Jesus, they have him with a purple sash on it, things like that. Purple has always been associated with royalty, which is just a combination of the sun and the moon. Red and blue makes purple. But so if you go and look at Wendy's, McDonald's, all of them, they have that red, orange, blue color scheme because it caters to your lower self, not your higher self. But this color scheme deals with our bodies insofar as the heart chakra is green, right? Now, if you're old enough to go to the doctor, they tell you for your heart health, what should you eat? Dark green leafy foods, because it deals with this. So then the same way with this, if you want to deal with this part of your head, if you have a problem with your eyes and headaches and things like that, then you want to eat purple foods. Carrots are originally purple. Certain cranberries, certain berries that are purple. You know what I'm saying? So it has a color correlation with the chakras, or those 7 basic colors, and your body. And once you understand that, then you'll be able to eat better, and be able to manifest certain things that you want to happen with your body as well as your life. But if you're not taught this, then you feel like feeding the kids Wendy's is going to be good for them when it's not. Or McDonald's, because again, it's fast food, it's not good for you. You know what I mean? We're supposed to sit down, take our time and eat, you know what I mean, share, love, and grow. But now we come home and give our children food, and kid is in this room, you're in this room, somebody else is in this room, and there's no family time, there's no bonding, there's no love, there's no energy that's being circulated amongst our people because we are dealing with the chakras from the navel to the sacral, and then the root chakra, which is the red, the orange, and the yellow. Once we come here to the green, and then the blue, and the indigo, and the purple, then we start dealing with higher vibrations, better food quality, better energy amongst our people, the people in general. So once once you study this is all African science. Once you study this, then it makes so much more sense. But because, again, we've allowed the wrong information to come within our circle, right? And we miss something like this, like a ceiling fan. Mm-hmm. You ever put up a ceiling fan? You have. So what are the colors associated with the electrical wiring in it? Do you remember?
Red, black.
Right?
White.
Yep. So now, red, black, white, and sometimes tan or gold. That's the grounding one. Why? Because those are the ancient Egyptian colors that dealt with sacredness. And why is that? Because inside of your body, right, you have, this is on a metaphysical level. You have the Sushumna, which is black. You have the Pingala, which is red. You have the Ida, which is white. So you see the color scheme? So then what happens is you have electrical current that goes up and down your body. They tell you that you have the electrical synapses in your brain. But inside of your brain you have a cerebral cortex, which produces electricity. Now that forms from here and it travels down your spinal column and it goes back up. And in certain ancient Hindu cultures, they utilize the word Om. But then when a German guy by the name of Gregor Ohm created the so-called electrical current thing, you follow what I'm saying? So there's a correlation. They knew that inside of our bodies we have these electrical impulses going up and down, as well as the color scheme that exists within it, which they took and created the electrical wiring for ceiling fans and all other types of wiring things, because it deals with that we're electrical people. So then we have to have electrical foods, or what I call feminine foods, which are feminine or foods that are good for us, healthy for us, nurturing, etc. On the opposing side is unnatural foods, or masculine foods, which are linear, uncompromising, stiff, etc. So these are things that they all grow in abundance in the same way. That's why you see a lot of green here. You look at those trees, they have afros. They have naturals. You know what I mean? It's real. You know what I mean? So when we get back to our natural state, then we come in contact with those things that we were put here as we come from this, and we depart from this. You know what I mean? Then it's a cycle. The same way, like I said, that those planets, those star constellations, those systems all go hand in hand, one and one, round and round and round. We have to understand that all of that is a part of us. We're not separated from it. It's right along with us. So then when the Africans would build those pyramids, inside of the queen's chamber is red granite, or white granite. Inside of the king's chamber is red. You know what I mean? And then they encased it in white limestone. Same color scheme. But again, like your scarf. But we don't see that because nobody is telling us that these same colors what you have there. This is how it was because it came from a higher level than what we get in surface religion. Religion is not going to tell us this. So that kind of, again, these books will definitely go into this type of thing, chakras, Egypt, you know, it will go into all of it, the zodiac, etc. So then, that's what I'm trying to do, is trying to help us get to that next level of information, but not try to overload you with too much information. You know what I mean?
Enough to pique your interest and then you be like me, don't stop.
Right.
Yeah.